Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I, as usual, am your host Ben, and joining me, as usual, is my good homeboy Ian. How you doing, Ian?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I'm super. Thanks for asking. It's Monday, man.
We're as good as anybody can be on a Monday, huh?
Well, I suppose. I don't know. It's one of those days, like, I got up and I was like, oh, I don't have any good pants out. I guess the laundry wasn't done. I came downstairs, I finished the laundry, and then I came back upstairs and I was like, wait a minute, I just put away t-shirts, socks, underwear. I'm like, where were the pants? Oh wait, there's a pile of pants right here. So I didn't have to do all that. That's like, it's Monday. Ah, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fun times. But yeah, I don't know. When we finished our show last week, we finished up, and then I was checking Twitter while we were getting ready to, say our goodbyes to each other, and I was like, oh, hey, Robin Williams apparently died. Oh. It's like, oh my, that's, well, that was a bit of a straight-up bummer here, and, I don't know, man. It's one of those things, man. What are your thoughts on that situation there, Ian?
I really don't have any, man. I mean, it's like, I don't know. For me, I'm just, Mondays is like usually like really slow for me, just in general, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, Monday mornings I'm usually going pretty good, but then by evening and afternoon and evening, I'm just like, man, I need to take a break, get some rest. And then you go to sleep, wore out that night, and then Tuesday you get up late, and it's like, well, the week's gone to crap already. I did finally upgrade the RAM in my computer, so now I'm rocking 18 gigabytes instead of just 10.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, which
never heard of anybody having that number of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll probably upgrade more later down the road. It's funny though. You put it in the machine, and for a while, it's like, oh hey, I got all this extra RAM. It's great, and it's like, no, I'm using almost all of it now. I'm using it for different stuff. I will find a reason to use it. So, I don't know. I just wanted to get the most RAM I could, and I found some on Amazon for like $64. It's like, okay. Everyone else is wanting like 90. It's alright.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't see anything suspicious about this, and you're claiming a lifetime warranty, so.
What kind did you get? Like a Corsair or something?
What, the RAM? I got what you need FB DIMMs, so I don't know. Don't know what make it is and everything, but they said it was for the, because I have a 2008 model Mac Pro, and you need that kind of RAM because some of them have different heat spreaders or something. It's like, well, you want to get the right kind because you don't want to get the wrong kind and have it not work because then you waste your money. I'm still waiting on the new hard drive I ordered to get here though. So.
Oh yeah, did you order that 6 terabyte hard drive then?
Well, yeah. I like how every time I buy a new hard drive for this computer, I could fit the previous ones inside of it. So
yeah, well that's how I am. That's why I'm probably gonna wait when they come out with 8 terabyte hard drives because I have like a 500. It like doubles every time. I have a 500, a 1, a 2, and now a 4. So I'm probably gonna be.
I've got a 320 gigabyte, then I've got 1 terabyte, then I've got 2, and I figure, well, it's 3 times more than what I've got now, so I'll go for it.
So you're doing
it's funny though.
Triple.
Well, I waited, and then I guess I waited longer than I did last time. It's funny how like you could spend. It's basically every time I've bought a hard drive, it's always the same kind of price, but we're in the future, and you get more and more storage for that amount. I mean, I remember back when I bought a 60 gigabyte external, and that was like $200. It's like, oh man, this is a deal here. Now it's like you can get that like 10 little keychain thing. I don't know. Anyway, Technology, man. Going to the future. So, what have you been up to this week, Ian? Because catching up with each other. I haven't talked to you since last week's show.
Oh, well, I'm still trucking away at that DOS batch stuff because, I mean, I haven't worked on it as heavily every day just because I've been trying to enjoy the summer a little bit too, you know. And
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah, I'm still with that.
You're just sitting there in the coal mine, working in a coal mine, buddy.
Yeah.
See
Well,
the end of it.
Yeah. Well, I went with my family on, I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday we went to a festival they had in Talmadge, you know, just like festival foods like elephant ears and all that stuff, you know.
Oh
Hot
yeah,
dogs.
we went to the county fair when it was in because my mom got 2 free tickets from somebody. She's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Why not?" It's like it's there. If we get it for free, why not? And walk around, look at the animals, get some lemonade and a funnel cake, and
Yeah, fun, okay.
that's about the extent of it. It's like, you want to
Well,
get in a ride? It's like, no.
Yeah, I don't think they had any rides at the festival in Talmadge. They did have a parade and some fireworks and stuff, so they had a lot of people were.
I love a parade. The street, the sound of the beat. Da, da, da. Anyway.
A lot of kids, a lot of monster kids were running around. It's like you almost trip over them, man. You're just trying to walk through this street, and then they're
Yeah.
throwing their glow sticks around and stuff, you know.
Oh man, back in the day when I was a kid going to the fairs and stuff, you'd have like the kids running around. They didn't have glow sticks back then. They had those little popping, you know, little mini firecrackers that you just throw on the ground and pew pop pop pop, and then they'd have the little toy guns, you know, back in the day when you could have toy guns. they having those pew pew, you know. I don't know. It's kids, man, whatever. I went to the library today because my mom was mentioning over the weekend. She's like, you know, we haven't been to the library yet this summer. We usually go and, you know, see what they got. I'm like, yeah, you got a point there. And I was like, well, I kind of want to go now. Didn't even feel the urge to look and see what they had until you mentioned that I'd been missing it. So, went and got a bunch of movies. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the weather's been pretty nice at least, you know.
Well, it's been alright. It's been sunny. Like, the weather app on my phone keeps saying it's gonna rain, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's probably just the humidity because it's been kind of sunny, but also kind of cloudy. It's mostly been humid. It hasn't really been like rainy weather lately. I don't know. Work. So, you went to a festival. You've been working on your panoramas.
Well, I've been
Or
taking some new panoramas actually around here, just so it's, you know, it's mainly the batch scripts I'm trying to finish up on though, man, because they're becoming a lot more of a project than I wanted it to be, you know.
Oh yeah, I know. Every time I sit and go, okay, I'm going to work on this and move on and get this done, I sit and go, well, now I kind of want to start a whole other project. And, you know, you can have, that's a thing of a form of procrastination is, you know, perpetual new project-itis, you know? Where it's like, wouldn't it be great if, and then you get enamored with the idea, and then when it actually comes to sitting down and working on it, it's like, well, I'm not feeling the urge, you know, coming up with the idea is the best part, you know, and then it's like, okay, now sit and work at it and make this a thing. Well, that doesn't sound so much fun. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
People
just
starting stuff. It's like, I guess it's like
starting.
quitting smoking. It's so easy to do, and then it's so easy to break.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, it's like you go to like fairs and festivals and stuff, and you know you have all this smells of there, but then you have this smells of like certain areas are smells of all that mixed with cigarettes, you know.
Oh man, smoking is one of those things. My mom smoked when I was growing up, and I never felt the urge to pick up the habit, and I always considered it disgusting. So whenever she would ask me to pass her a pack of cigarettes or something, I'd be like, yeah. And it's like, now that I'm at the age now where I've got friends that are trying to kick the habit because they've had since they were teenagers, and I'm like, well, what do you want, man? I wasn't into it when I was a teenager, and I'm glad I wasn't, and now I don't have to kick the stupid habit. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what would you think? I mean, it. I hate it because I have to smell it, and a lot of times it burns my eyes. You know, that's the only reason why I guess I don't mind so much that they're, you know, like smoking is becoming it's not like becoming illegal, but it's in certain areas you
Well,
can't
it's been
do,
banned
like,
in all.
some
Yeah, it's
apartments.
been banned in most places. I mean, I agree with that because it's like I don't want to be breathing in your smoke. I mean, I agree that if you want to light up, you should, but it's like who has the say? If you're polluting the air people walk in, it's like, hey man, go somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's like
it's technically a form of a carcinogen. This cigarette.
I mean, it's like there are some things where it's like, hey, if it's not hurting, like I've heard people complaining about, people on airplanes looking at pornography, and they're like, oh, you should put that away. It's like, no, your business. It's like that's a matter of like, a personal thing. It's like as long as no one else can see what they're doing, they should be free to do what they want. But
Yeah.
if it's a matter of like you're walking out somewhere and now your coat is gonna smell of smoke, and you're gonna step in butts, or the guy that spits his
Yeah.
gum out on the street. It's like think about the common, like I don't go out and try to ruin places I go to, but you ever been to like a park and like go to the bathroom and like the mirror's broken, people peed all over the wall, it's like places people
Yeah.
don't care about, and it's like everything that's communal that requires the people maintain it always goes to crap. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
Which is why I kind of agree that some things should be regulated. It's like, well, if people aren't gonna, take care, if people are just gonna scratch and tear stuff up, it does need to be regulated. That's a fine if you mess with it, or you shouldn't be doing this.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
Oh yeah, but I mean the thing too is because I mean I don't know if you saw the episode, but I remember seeing that one South Park episode where they were, it was about smoking, but then the guy that was like trying to get smoking banned or whatever, he was like bad and
Yeah.
stuff, and they were trying to
Yeah,
make
Rob
smoking banned.
Reiner. Yeah, they're.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of a cheap jab. I mean, I can like I don't know. They're sometimes they present both sides of the matter, and you have to figure out which one they agree on. But sometimes they have a very pointed opinion on it. It's like, well, I wonder which side they're on. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't care. I personally don't care if people smoke. I just find it a disgusting habit, especially people who can't support their own habit. So like they're going through ashtrays looking for a half-used butt, and it's like, oh, that's disgusting. That's not no.
Yeah.
It's like at
Oh,
that
yeah,
point,
so
you go, life's not worth that, man. Come on now.
Yeah,
There's
I
better
remember
things to do with your life.
I think there was a guy from AIP, I think, where he would go to like ashtrays and just be like, "Hey, this is unsmoked cigarette butts here. You could use these. It's just as good."
Unsmoked. Yeah,
Like-
the butt is unsmoked, like the roach of the. Anyway, it's just come on, man.
It's, but yeah,
I mean, at that point, because a lot of kids got into smoking because they thought it made them cool, it made them a badass, and now it's like when you're the guy scrounging for a butt and trying to find an unused little bit to puff to get your fix of, it's like, how badass are you now? That's more sad and depressing than anything else.
yeah. I find those commercials too that, I mean, they're gross, but I mean you probably end up like that too, where they have the guy has to smoke out of his neck or his throat, and then he's like, be careful when you're in the shower. You have to face away, or careful when you're shaving or watering the lawn.
People who get addicted to smoking and stuff, they're like, I've seen people on like oxygen tanks. Like that stuff will blow up if you get a flame near it, but they'll still puff and then breathe, puff and breathe. It's like, Yeah, well, one of these days you're gonna fall asleep doing that, and then your house is gonna explode. So, hope it was worth it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
anyway,
crazy. At my apartment, there's a couple like old ladies at my apartment, and you like, like if they're smoking outside or something, it's like they smoke. They don't just smoke like the regular cigarettes. They smoke that really hard shit, man. It's like
yeah,
the light stuff doesn't affect them anymore. They're so addicted to it, man.
yeah, it's just that's not worth it. Well, anyway, so I think it's about time to bring on this week's headlines and news with Ian. Right, Ian?
I think so.
Headlines with Ian.
Yep. It's that time again. It's news with
It's
Ian.
that time, boys and girls. All right.
Yeah. By the way, I never got a chance to practice it yet with it or mess around with it at all. Have you messed around with that link thing on here?
That what?
The Hangouts.
Oh.
They have like some links.
Oh, you're talking about the showcase thing?
Yeah.
I tried using that on a show, but I don't know what it updates. Like, I think it updates for like maybe live viewers. I don't know. It looks like an RSS kind of thing, or like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. I guess.
It's one of those things. It's like that's great. Give us things that actually work and do things we want. I mean, if he and I wanted to design a
Yeah.
car together, we could. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect then.
All right.
Okay,
All right. So what's
this
today's
one's-
top story?
Well, this first one, I'm gonna save the more serious article because there's a celebrity I wanted to talk about that was brought to my attention after last week's episode.
Okay.
So that's a little bit serious. I figure we'll talk a little bit about him. So I'm gonna leave that for the end.
Okay.
This one is about Google reinforces undersea cables after shark bites. So the article here goes on and talks about that there's underwater fiber optic cables that the sharks are actually being attracted to because of the electromagnetic waves or whatever they're putting out when you're sending information back and forth. So, and that's usually how sharks are attracted to like their prey and stuff, is the electricity I guess they put out.
Oh, so they think they're going after like a
biting
seal or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So Google is having to go and reinforce them with the goal is
like stuff to dampen it.
Maybe they might do that, I don't know, but the main thing is just to reinforce it with like Kevlar and stuff so they can't actually tear it,
Oh, okay.
So
So just make it more shark resistant.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they're gonna have to go through and with I think it's like 100,000 miles and reinforce it. It's gonna be like a $300 million project or whatever.
Well, I'm sure when they were laying that line, that was one of the things they were thinking about. They're like, I wonder what happens if.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it too is gonna be setting up new lines and stuff going between like the United States and Japan and a lot of parts of Asia, and like in the U.S. it's gonna mainly be like major cities and stuff.
Well, I don't think anybody's too worried about Google spending money. Oh, where will they find the money for this project, Ian?
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard about that? Have you heard about that Google Cardboard, where they were going to try and do like an Oculus kind of thing, but they wanted to make it more like, oh, you can use your phone to do it. See, now they've got the, it's like a cardboard holder that you put your phone in it. It has like a magnet that you can use to click things. It's kind of weird.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, they definitely have the money for it. It's just how long is it gonna take? doing all that.
Well, it might be like one of those projects, like when they paint the Golden Gate Bridge, that like when they start on one end, by the time they get to the other, they got to start again. So, yeah.
Do you know anybody that's like any family members or anybody that's worked on like something really huge like the Chrysler building or something like that?
Not like that. My dad worked at the steel mill, and I've had other, I've known people that work for railroads and stuff like that, but nothing that you could name, like, like that building there, I made it. None of that.
Right. I mean, me neither, really. I mean, it's surprising too because it's like they had stuff like that. I mean, they've had to have like I don't know how many people exactly, but it's definitely a lot of people,
Well, I mean, it's like there's feats of like actually constructing it, and then there's the feats of just engineering it, because it's like, can you imagine designing a giant skyscraper but not figuring out stuff correctly, and like it collapses and like losing all that money if you do it wrong? So like you gotta be really sure of yourself, no, this will stay in place, it'll be great, it's not gonna be the towering inferno.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next article here. This next article is a little bit more Big Brother again this week. This one is about a company will scan your Tumblr pictures to find out what brands you're interested in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
then do direct marketing towards you based on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, we were saying the same thing when the Xbox One and stuff came on, and people were like, "Hey, with that camera and everything, they're going to start filming you all the time, and say, oh, hey, you bought this, you might like this too." It's like, that's creepy.
Right. Well, it says Tumblr is hooking up with analytics firm Ditto, which will scour your pictures looking for sneakers and soft drinks frame. So it's like if you have a Coca-Cola or something in there, it's that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as it's not, Coca-Cola complaining, hey, you can't show pictures of our product unless you're selling it for... It's funny how, like, main products versus, like, music and television and everything are very different. It's like, oh, you're taking a picture of yourself enjoying a refreshing Coca-Cola? Great. Versus, right. Oh, you're listening to our song? We want your money.
Yeah. Well, actually, one movie that might sort of be... I mean, I've heard things about it. Did you hear about that Expendables 3?
Yeah, I heard about it. What about it?
Well, that Expendables movie came out, but it was leaked on the internet, like a pristine copy of it, and
a lot of
people downloaded it. And some people, I guess, are thinking that it might have been a PR move or whatever, to promote the movie. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. So, in a day where people are making sex tapes and leaking them, I can sure see somebody leaking a movie. So...
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like, sure, a lot of the companies, it seems like the attitudes are more turning towards, well, hey, it's sort of more of like a promotion, almost, That's what it seems like now.
Well, they need to be smarter about it. Well, yeah. You want to be smart about it. It's like, well, if people are wanting to see it so desperately, why not give them a reason to go, well, this looks great, I got to see that blow up on a big screen, So you give them an excuse.
Yeah.
So.
But, oh yeah, and I think what you were saying about it too is, yeah, they got to be smarter with the delivery method of it too. So you want to try to get it to them as easy as possible,
Well, the reason why people pirate stuff is because it's easier than going through all the channels and paying money. It's like, there are times when people want to buy something, but there's not a copy out. It hasn't been released on DVD or on iTunes, or it's, it's like just like when a new episode of a show comes out, people really want to see it, and the show airs and it's suddenly floating out there on the internet versus the show airs, and then like at the end of the year they'll put out a DVD. It's like, well, gee.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not just that too. It's like a lot of the sites that I've supposedly seen. I should put on that voice changer thing. The sites that I've seen
Sit
is
down.
like,
Let's talk to you for a little bit. So what are you doing here today? What did you come to this house to do, Ian? Did you think you were going to talk to some teenage people? Is what that you thought you were going to do? Why you got some champagne in your hand there, Ian? What's going on?
No, it's just a lot of these sites just make it like they have like all these crazy filters and search things. It's like the way the sites are set up and the ways that you can find the content too are almost better designed than the actual content providers, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I've heard.
That's all I'm saying. So I've heard.
All right. So, but yeah, scanning Tumblr, I think that makes sense because Tumblr is going to be a big thing. So, it's like, I mean, it makes sense. It's just still kind of creepy. But then again, if you're posting pictures of yourself constantly, like a lot of people do, why not?
Right. Okay. Let's move on to the next article here. Just trying
Story number
to
3.
truck along. Oh, this one is with the title, not the link. But this article is. This one's about kill switches on phones. I mean, we sort of talked about it a little bit, but
we mentioned it a long time ago, I think.
Yeah. Well, this one is a little bit about the government getting involved. Like, I think it was like in states like California or in Minnesota, where I guess they're doing it where, like, if there's like a sensitive area or whatever, that they, like, the police can shut off your phone. Like, you know, I guess if they don't want you filming, I guess then they'll just be able to shut it off, you know. Which is obviously pretty controversial for a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, that's good. I can see a lot of lawsuits stemming from that.
So there's that, and then we've just talked about, you know, like Apple wanting to shut off your phone if you're at a concert or whatever, you know. So I mean, we talked about that before.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff where, like, you know, we understand why, you know, we're at that crossroads where the old media in the old ways that stuff was shared versus the way stuff is now. Because, like, you know, back in the day when you bought a cassette, it's like you own that cassette. There was no other, you know, you couldn't just give that to all kinds of people. And now it's like, well, when you got a song, you can, like, hey, you want it? Here's the link to it. Here it is. I don't even have to go through the physical trouble of making a copy of it. I just shove it right at you, you know? And it's like, you know, they've tried to stop the floodgates of that, and right now they're still trying to figure out how to manage it. But I think we're just going to reach a point where, you know, everything's just there, and as to how people make, you know, how you regulate being able to make money off of creating something, I don't know. I'm concerned with it. What are your thoughts, Ian? Like, we've talked about things like Patreon and stuff, and things where you can subscribe to you know, like if you like a band, you could subscribe to them, and then maybe the number of subscribers factors into either the ad revenue or, you know, or some other thing,
yeah.
You know, or maybe like there's been services before where you, like, I think BitPass might have been like that, and I think Patreon's trying to be like this, where you put so much money in, and then you say, of these people I like, every time they release a new whatever, give them $1 or give them, you know, and that makes sense, because if there's somebody that you really like and they're not making money any other way, it's like, you know, well, why wouldn't I want them to put out a new thing? So,
right, yeah. I remember I did an article for the show like I think it was a couple of months ago or whatever too. Is there's the thing about like Apple wanting to have a kill switch for when you're driving or whatever, which I
Oh
mean
yeah,
in
but that was
theory
that was a
it's a good
texting and
idea.
driving thing. That was one of those things where in theory it sounds good, but it's like how are you gonna get that to work? Is like what happens if you're driving and there's an accident, and you need to text 911 about it, or what happens if like you're in the passenger seat while someone's driving? It has to be smart enough to recognize that, and it's like I don't want. I mean, I have enough trouble. The other night, my phone. I went to iTunes and I realized my podcast hadn't updated, and I told it to refresh, and it's like, oh, iTunes noticed that you hadn't listened to a couple of these episodes, so we haven't downloaded any new ones. And I'm just like, iTunes, that is not your call to make. that, I mean, the reason I haven't been listening to episodes on you is because I've been listening through Stitcher, because you take so long to try and connect through the home sharing. And this and that, I have all these problems. It's like it's easier to do something else, and maybe if you would quit making decisions for me, I might use you more often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But I think what's shared in common with these is the planning of the implementation of hard things is such as a hard kill switch is they're poorly implemented. It seems like with the texting and driving, it doesn't really seem like that was thought out very well.
Yeah. I mean, I could see. I mean, it already. I mean, phones already have like a do not disturb mode that if you were seriously driving and actually wanted to be safe, you could ticket. But the idea that it's just gonna stop texting whenever you're in a car, that sounds a little involved. That sounds like it might be an idea for something generations down the road. When everybody's got the Apple car that they can get in, and it'll know when you're driving. So.
Yeah, let our grandchildren figure this shit out, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll come faster than we think it will. There'll be, there are times when it's like, oh, hey, this thing recognizes that I'm doing something. Like we were talking about with the whole Google, recognizing when you're playing an audio clip from a song, and it's like, oh, cut that out, or we'll stop the broadcast. And stuff can detect, especially if there's money involved. They'll find a way to do something. Money's a big motivator in the industry, Ian. So
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay, this one, I I felt we should maybe talk about it a little bit, but um, this is one is a little bit more serious too, just like the other one I mentioned, but I guess we could talk about it a little bit, I guess, because there's a whole political spectrum when it comes to this story, and this one would be talking about Ferguson. So.
Yes.
Do you want to start off on your opinions on it?
Well, I mean, I haven't been following too much of the coverage because I haven't been watching much television. I have been seeing my Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr lighting up all about it.
Yeah.
I did watch John Oliver's his show on HBO This Week Tonight, I think is what it's called, where they talk about things, and he was discussing the militarization of local police and the way that the people were acting, and different things, like how they released that video of the kid supposedly stealing from a convenience store, but then it turns out they conveniently didn't show the part where the kid paid for the stuff he walked out of the store with, so there was no robbery. And then this video of the cops, yelling profanity at the crowd, firing tear gas, Al Jazeera, I think it was, they showed, like, they were in an interview with the mayor or the police chief, and they were saying, oh no, nobody's firing tear gas, and like, here's video of the police firing tear gas at one of our reporters. Like, okay, tear gas was being fired, but it's a very, whoo boy, situation right now.
Well, I don't want to debate. Or I don't want to debate on. I don't know all. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there. For the when he died. So, I my only really strong opinion on it was that I think as far as, because it's like there was rioting and stuff, but for the peaceful protesting part, I think maybe the force was a little bit excessive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. I mean, where the guy that you were talking about, he was saying that there was tear gas that was used, right?
Well, there's video of it. It's been used. There's all kinds of photos. It looks like a war zone. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it was like CNN and stuff was saying that there was no tear gas being used and stuff. And another thing that I thought was crazy is like anybody was arrested who was trying to film it, you know. Like I think they had like MS, like the Washington Post or whatever was like trying to film from a McDonald's or something, and they were being arrested in there, I guess. I don't know.
Well, there was a live stream going on for a while the other night, and like apparently some cop told the people to shut down or he was going to shoot him in the face. It's like, yeah, you tell that to a reporter. That's what you do. So there's a push right now, people wanting cops to wear cameras and everything. I don't know, man. I mean, it's another situation, just like the whole Trayvon Martin thing and a whole bunch of other situations
exactly.
where something happened and there's a lot of racial tension involved in it, and it really needs you really hope that when things like this happen that an actual dialogue happens. But it's very clear that like how it's been bungled by the local police and then the governor sending the National Guard in. It's like, yeah, that's an idea. When people are upset about the militarization in their neighborhood, and you decide to send the National Guard in, so that's really going to help it. And then the John Oliver video, he showed the clip of the governor announcing it. He's like, he sounds like a high school principal, going, oh, do this and maybe we'll have recess, or something. It's like, you don't. I don't know. It's a very hot situation over there right now. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know what to say, because again, you and I are both two white middle class Americans. We don't like I don't think that we're we really have much to say specifically about the situation, especially since neither of us really know all the details in the case, what's going on, and who's getting hurt and what stories. But it's very clear that the police department and officials in the area definitely need to get some things under wraps and not like there's stories of like tear gassing 8-year-olds and all kind. Yeah, that's not stuff you need to see. That's not stuff needs to happen.
There was rubber bullets too that was used, I believe.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
I did see a video of them like pointing like menacingly pointing lasers at the with the guns at like the people that were just marching or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. Then that John Oliver video, they showed like a whole bunch of cops pointing guns at the people with their hands up, and they're like, yeah, you don't do that. You don't point your guns at people that you don't intend to shoot at. It's like, why are these people wearing like camo and army fatigues? It's like it's a war zone. It's like there's no reason for such excessive force. It's just gonna up the ante of the situation. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, man. And it's like I said, I'm definitely all for. I want to see peaceful protesting instead of rioting and stuff, and it does make it harder when one person like throws a Molotov cocktail or whatever. It's that definitely complicates the situation.
Well, I mean, either side. I think it's like that Dr. Seuss book, the Butter Battle book. It's like, if people step up and other people step up, it's like, well, hey, now we're just gonna have this big Cold War standoff. It's like, can't we all just back up? Tensions are riding high.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to. I'm not gonna say it one way or the other that who's at fault is with the Michael Brown thing, because I didn't know that many details about the Trayvon Martin thing, so I really didn't give too many opinions on it myself. So I mean, like I said, I wasn't there to see the shooting. I mean, what would you say? Would you think it was Do you do you think he was innocently? You think he was innocent? He was shot in cold blood, or what? What is your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I keep hearing all kinds of different stories about it, like, he was shot 6 times, 2 times in the head, and and different forensic people were saying that he was, his wounds were consistent with somebody that had their hands up in the surrendering pose. So, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
the situation. I just know it's definitely that guy. Now that we know who the officer is, there's there's going to be a serious, push to make sure that if he did something, that if he did act criminally, to make sure he's accountable for it. And then there's a whole contingency of other people that are cropping up to support this guy, because that's what people do. They're like, oh, I see an underdog. Like, oh, we're with you, officer who shot this kid. It's like, whoa, back up. That's
yeah,
he doesn't. You don't need that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Here I'm posting here's the two source fed videos on it. That's Ferguson, what you need to know, part 1 and part 2, and the part 2 that I think it was just put up today, where they were talking about the forensics analysis was like the grazing or whatever of the bullet was showing him with the hands up, I guess, and he had to have his head down or whatever. I forget exactly what they said, but I'll definitely. You definitely should maybe put them in the links there for people to watch the video.
well, they'll definitely be in the
it's-
show notes. Let me just. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I like SourceFed. They're pretty fair.
They're alright. I mean, granted, they're kind of like BuzzFeed a little bit. It's like, hey, remember these shows from the 80s? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But sometimes they joke around too much, and it's like, okay, can we actually get to the news now? you know?
Well, I mean, that's, there's different flavors of news. You get that, you get the Daily Show, you get the Naked News, you get, you get the Onion, there's all different kinds of levels of, like, you gotta need to know what filter you're looking through. It's like, I don't know. I can agree to some extent when you're covering news that you should make it, entertaining, but you shouldn't try and make everything a joke. Which is why I like the Daily Show and, like, John Oliver and those other guys, Stephen Colbert, when they do stuff, because they do better actual news reporting than a lot of news networks. So, I don't know.
Okay. Now on to more positive news. Um,
Oh,
Not really.
yay.
That's why I'm saving these for the end, because we could actually have some serious discussion about them a little bit. But this one is, I'm sure, unless if you're under a rock that's under another big rock, buried in the center of the earth, the Robin Williams was found dead.
Mm-hmm.
People, I guess he killed himself, I guess. I mean, I don't know a lot of the details about it, but I have the wiki here. I'll link the wiki, because the wiki was actually, like, the next day they updated it.
The next day, you mean as soon as the news broke, it had been updated?
Yeah.
'Cause that's how Wikipedia works, man. It's a live thing.
Oh, that's true. At least the next day when I looked on the wiki, I saw it was updated, I should say that.
Oh, I've read news, like, I've discovered, like, I think, was it when Michael Jackson died, or like when celebrities pass away, I read about it on Twitter, and then I find out, they add the date to their wiki. I'm like, that's really kind of morbid to be following people up to date that close. But it's like, I guess, I don't know. I guess it's a good thing in some respect, because every now and again you get that, like, oh, Rick Moranis died. No, he didn't. Oh, Bill Cosby. No, he didn't. Like, oh, I heard they died. No, that was a lot more common back in the early days of the internet. When there weren't really official sites to go to, they'll tell you, no, that's a hoax. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess he was found in his closet. Isn't that right?
I believe that. And
And it was asphyxiation or whatever. He was he pretty
Yeah,
much.
apparently they found him with a belt around his neck or something. Which, by the way, a friend of mine on Facebook shared a link to a picture that they claim to be him. It's like, okay, they found him in his home. You're not gonna have nobody's running around taking photos of that. One, two. Regardless, I don't care what celebrity it is, whatever. Nobody wants to see a body on your Facebook feed. Don't be sharing those links. Nobody wants that right now, especially not right now when people, people who grew up with Ryan Williams, people who grew up on Hook and Jumanji and Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin and all that stuff are sitting here going, "Oh man, that's I don't know how I feel about this." And then you're sharing a picture like that. It's like, come on, have some decency. Honestly, people.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. Well.
That's it.
Yeah, you're right, man. Have some. You
Oh,
should definitely.
We have a special
respect
guest
for
joining
that.
us. We have a special guest joining us.
Oh yeah.
Do you see him?
Is he? Oh, it's Doug, huh? Yeah.
Are you there,
Actually-
Doug?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, we're chilling.
Yeah. Well,
We're just talking about the
Actually, I
death of a beloved celebrity, so don't mind us.
actually, before we get into that, do you mind if if he was gonna come on the show earlier, I wanted to ask him what are your thoughts on Ferguson, Doug, real quick.
The brother from Glycera explains it all, right?
Oh, you did not just go there.
I'm just trying to lighten things up, man. We talked about Ryan Williams killing himself. I need a little bit of levity, so.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that? Because
Well, see, here's the thing. Ferguson was a brat, okay? That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I don't know, man. Clarissa had her dude friend who always snuck in through her window. Shouldn't that be suspicious of a teenage girl? I mean, really? No. Apparently, like at the end of the series, didn't he go to an all-girl college? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you have? Yeah. What? But I mean, with Michael Brown though, Doug, what do you think?
Michael Brown?
Yeah, that's what I meant by Ferguson.
I think I might have missed this chat.
Oh yeah, we had a chat about it.
I think I missed everything about that chat. What about
Yeah.
Michael Brown and Ferguson?
In Ferguson, Missouri. Do you have any thoughts about it? I mean, do you think it's going to turn into another Trayvon Martin thing or what?
Oh, that. See, I don't really pay attention to current events. But I have heard of that. As far as that goes, we're getting into that type of a culture right now. It's unfortunate. Where, and I just saw this on my Facebook page, as a matter of fact, just today, where we draw so many lines as it pertains to race right now. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook about how you need to be proud black man or proud this, proud that. You know what? How about we just be people and just leave it alone? Is that so much to ask? Can't we all just get along?
Well, the thing is, Doug, that that's easy for you and I say as white guys, but that doesn't ignore the fact that black guys are still getting predominantly arrested and sentenced to jail for in ratios to white guys have more statistically get more contraband when they're thrown into prison. They're the ones that actually commit but proportionally they're more black people in prison right now versus how many white guys are white people arrested. So
Well,
it is an issue. It is an issue worth discussing.
But when you really stop to think about it, the this is something that was brought up a while ago, and I never really spoke up about it. But whites are more apt to do white collar crimes. You know what I mean? Like, embezzling money, small petty theft, stuff like that. Then you got really messed up white people who do the idiot stuff like heroin and meth. Now,
The white
unfortunately,
trash.
Yeah, white trash.
The white trash you're talking about, yeah.
And unfortunately, this country has been on this big, and I'm very specific on this topic as well. Everyone's all like, well, we gotta stop the pot, and it's marijuana is such a bad drug, it's a gateway drug, and you know what? It's already been proven that that's not true. That's fucking let people do that. It's not a drug that needs to be classified in the same vein as a heroin or anything like that. But there's also a culture around that too. And there is a culture, and it's unfortunate, it's a very large cultural shift that's happened within probably like the last 10-15 years, where now we glorify everything that is quote unquote hood based. I just saw this video of a 14-year-old black kid had just gotten out of juvie, and it was all talking about popping out gats and shooting people. Like, you know what? How is that culture correct? It starts with not only the black parents but also the white parents too, in teaching children the right from wrong. Where do we get to the point of people not teaching their children? Where do we get to the point of parents just saying, "Oh well, I wanna go out and do something, so we'll just go ahead and leave my baby with the crackhead next door." I was raised in this same era, and it boggles my mind on how many people I know that are raising, unfortunately, and I really hate to say this because it's a very ugly term, but trash children. They're going to get chewed up, spat out by the system, and they're going to get chewed up and spat out by the quote-unquote hoods where they live in. You glorify that mentality, and people are surprised when we turn into that, the thing that we're glorifying.
Well, yeah, except my issue with that is that, these stories like the Trayvon Martin case and this thing going on in Ferguson is that the issue is cops just profiling people and saying, hey, these people are just thugs, they're just criminals, and really it's just like, no, dude, I'm just a guy. It's like, none of us know what that is like, because if you and I go out and run into a cop right now, he's going to look at us and go, oh, some doofy white kids, they're no trouble, at most they're just stoners, but if we were in another situation, it could be a very different turnout. My folks are kind of, have a little intimidation of the law. They're like, you don't want to mess with the law. You don't want to get yourself in a situation. But I think that the law does look at us a little bit different when we get pulled over versus somebody else. I will agree on that.
And that's part of that cultural shift too. The culture for police officers is, unfortunately, they've been conditioned to profile. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, they're conditioned to profile. Unless it's something as far as, sorry to say it, here's how it shakes out, okay? Shakes out, well, let's see, first off, the black people do the weed, the white people do the meth, and also white people and black people also like to do the heroin. Generally, white people do the cocaine. Am I really off base on how they're profiled?
Well, a lot of people in California, like a lot of the white people, do weed and stuff.
A lot of people do weed. I mean,
yeah.
But when you have to look at this from that completely bigoted viewpoint. The first thing when someone was like, "Oh man, I was hanging out with a couple of buddies of mine, we were smoking weed," and you got to be honest, because this is the honest truth. Everyone has that little bit inside of them that profiles. No matter if you want to admit it or not, it is there. It is prevalent from time to time. You can try to shut it down as much as you want, but it's still there.
Right.
it's something that
Are you an angry piehead?
No. I've
Angry
never
piehead.
smoked it.
Yeah.
The worst thing I've ever done is alcohol. I won't do anything else. That's just, and even
Yeah,
alcohol. Yeah,
I
even
believe
alcohol.
all three
took
of us
years.
here on all three of us here on the panel. None of us do pot, but I think all three of us have are basically in agreement that it should be illegal, right? I mean, people are going to
Yeah.
do it. You might
Well,
as
I
well
mean-
regulate it and tax it and make it more safe than
Do you
just whatever's.
realize-
Well,
Do you realize how much Colorado is making off the medicinal marijuana?
They made like
right now?
They've made like billions of dollars already. And,
They
you know,
made
since
just in the first half of the year, it's like $25 million.
it was like that the first like couple of months. I mean, they passed billions already. Like, yeah.
well, it's
And
the second.
I mean, that's money that we're missing. That we could have. You could tax that and have that pay for schools and all kinds of stuff that people don't want to pay for right now. Get it taken care of, infrastructure, and then you could also regulate it so that way people aren't getting stuff that's cut with all kinds of rat poison and stuff. Make it better, and then you could also funnel stuff towards medical research because it does have medical properties. You know, kids that are dying of cancer, they take it and they don't have the nausea from the chemotherapy. It's like you have all kinds of chronic pains. You take it and you don't feel so bad. It's like, well, gee.
I
So-
think
Yeah.
that's the only actual drug on the market that can really have a case for there not being illegal anymore. And everyone's like, well, if you take MDMA, you can learn more, and you you know what? Yeah, whatever. Don't give me that.
Well,
crap.
the problem though is I mean, when you think about the psychology behind like prohibition and stuff, it makes people want to. It turns people into kids. It makes them want to go out and do it harder. I mean, there was more alcoholics during the prohibition, than prior to the prohibition. So I mean. I think if you legalize it, you'll probably see it in the medical, but also it'll probably go down a little bit, probably because then people won't care about it as much,
Well, I mean, like in Colorado, it became legal, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to turn into a wild rogue state." And it's like, "Oh, that's funny. The cars flipped in the streets. No buildings set on fire.
Yeah.
It's not like Tijuana, is it?"
Yeah.
Yes,
But what my opinion though on what Doug was saying before is, I mean, I can see both of your guys' views where it's like Doug was saying, we need to raise our children right, we need to care about them more, which is why I'm glad I was raised. I'm glad I was raised right, because I learned my facts of life from the facts of life.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have
But
the facts of life.
no, I definitely agree though that there's definitely a lot of racial profiling though, I mean.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is like we're a bunch of white guys sitting here, but we know racial profiling is a thing, and we know it's a fact. And whenever black people tell us, "Hey, man, these people are this or that," it's like, yeah, of course they're. We see it every day. I mean, Doug and I, we went to our school was what would you say the ratio was? Like it was, a diverse, minorities, population. So we knew.
Yeah, I'd say we were pretty diverse. I mean, there's. I don't thought. Man, it's really hard to say actually. You really start to think about it. Man.
I don't know, man. I mean, but then again, it's like there's always a high-profile news story, just like either stuff like this or the whole OJ trial, which that whole trial wasn't so much about him as around what it represented, and the whole 10 years of that man's life that he's been constantly followed by people trying to put him in prison. Oh man. I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, this is how I would have done it. It's like, whoa, that book exists.
Yes, it
Weren't they going to give him another trial or something?
Well, they couldn't, remember, because they gave him a civil trial, but it was nothing criminal that they could have put him away in prison for, just fined him for, and that's when he lost that's where he lost all his money. He lost the civil trial, and then he went bankrupt. He tried to rob the museum that had a bunch of his stuff to try and get it back to sell it or to have it, and yeah.
Right. Well, that happened a long time ago. I just thought I heard that something new was going to happen with it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. They might refresh some sort of case, but it's like the actual murder case. He got acquitted, so therefore they legally can't get him for that. But I'm sure, if Al Capone could go to jail for tax evasion, they can do anything they want in the law system. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
It's nice to see you on the show, Doug, because we thought you weren't coming on this week.
Yeah, I was initially supposed to be at my second job, but I ended up oversleeping during my nap, so here I am. which I'm here to lay down the gauntlet as well.
Bringing down the thunder.
Yeah.
Well, I won last week.
See, here's the thing. I told Ben I was going to do this too, so here we go. I challenge you both to a round of WWE trivia with pandas.
Pandas?
Pandas.
Well, I'm done.
But, man, those are endangered, man. We get, how much trouble we get into wrestling a panda? Come on. Shoot.
Well,
I just saw a news article. They found like two rare panda twins in Asia or something.
it's basically a play on the fact that the World Wildlife Fund beat the WWF in court over the rights to the WWF letters. It's a play on words, children. It's a play on words.
Well, I think we should maybe continue on. What did you remember about Robin Williams the most, though, Doug? What'd you like about him? What's your favorite movies and memories and stuff?
Honestly, the one thing that pops to mind is Robin Williams Live on Broadway 2002. That was his stand-up in New York City, and it was fantastic. So,
See, I watched his stand-up since I was a kid, so it all kind of runs together after a while, because I used to watch, like, his comic relief specials, and then An Evening with Ron Williams, and just all of them, where he was the crazy, manic, oh, yeah, and then later, when he got older, and everything was just kind of spoken out like this,
Yeah.
So, yeah, he had a pretty diverse career, that man. He, a lot of movies, a lot of different range. He had some, he had, in college, when Ian and I would hang out, we bonded over Death to Smoochie, which,
Yeah.
it's pretty...
I just watched that the night after, too. I had to go back and watch it.
How's it hold up?
Well, it's like you see things that you watch the whole movie from beginning to start, and then it's like you see it becomes more of a complete movie then,
Mm-hmm.
Once you mature more, supposedly. As mature as we could get, I guess.
He had an interesting range when he had his comedies, some of them that were screwball and right out there, and others that were, a little weird. And then he had the dramas, like that 1 Hour Photo. And didn't he have another horror film he was in? And I can't remember. Like, I remember he was blonde in like 2 movies. And then he had that movie Toys, he had Jacob the Liar, he had, What Dreams May Come. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He had a lot of movies. He had things that, like, Hook, which was kind of weird, but he was good in it. He had Jumanji, which, he was a character created just to tell the story. I never figured in my life that there'd be both a movie for Jumanji and Zathura, but here they are.
Oh, yeah.
Although,
Yeah, about to see it.
he had Flubber and Bicentennial Man, which...
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys ever see Bicentennial Man?
no.
No, is it that...
It's
Wasn't he,
one of those movies where it's kind of like Robots. It's where it's an interesting concept. You're like, that sounds good. But when you actually see it put out in movie form, I guess you could compare it to like AI, where you're just like, well, this is a nice philosophical discussion, but these people creep me out. when he looks more and more like actual Robin Williams, it's all right. But when he's wearing the robot costume, it's a little off-putting.
See, you know what movie
Yeah.
that I also like? Probably my favorite Robin Williams movie that no one I know likes. That's Toys.
Birdcage.
Toys.
Oh, Toys. I've heard reviews of it. I haven't taken the time to watch it yet. I've heard it's just really weird. So
It's
Yeah.
basically about. Some would say it's actually about Robin Williams, about someone who refuses to grow up. It's really the big thing.
I don't know. I mean, I heard there's lots of metaphors for war, and like they're actually warring with the toys, and it gets kind of weird with the message that they're trying to send. Like I heard it, like the script writer, he wrote the script. He was a hot selling like script writer, and then like that movie was spent like 10 years the script being passed around because they didn't think they could make it, and then it got made. And I mean, I heard about it on How Did This Get Made? So I don't know. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
I think that's an underrated movie because the movie is basically used for overtones for peace versus war. That's really the big thing.
I don't know. It's. I mean, like I said though, man. You know, he had his big blaring moments like "Good Morning Vietnam" and stuff like that. But then he could have the quieter.
Now.
But then he had like he also had like Patch Adams, which apparently everyone that was actually knew Patch Adams was like, this is not a good representation of what the man does. He's which I don't know. Some of Ron Williams' movies kind of fall into this formula where they're like, let's drop Ron Williams in here, and it's like Jack. Like Ron Williams was a brilliant actor, and you drop him in this story, and it's like, really? He's a 10-year-old, but he's inside the body of a 45-plus-year-old man, and I don't know. It's like that's the one joke. It's not as heart-wrenching, I guess, as Mrs. Doubtfire, although the comedy in that is also kind of... although I do kind of wonder, weren't they supposed to be working on a Mrs. Doubtfire 2?
They were in the beginning
Well,
stages.
they were
of it.
supposed to be, but
Well... yeah, I don't
if
know
they
how...
go forward
like,
with it, it's gonna suck.
Well, the thing is, I don't know how the story like that story wrapped up. It was just a story about a father who was, a crappy husband, and then he had these kids though, and he had to work out actually, he and his wife worked out actually seeing his kids and being a parent, and it had its Tootsie moments, and yeah, I don't know how, like, I don't know what you would do with that. Either a spin-off of someone else doing it, or like doing
It's
I don't-
gonna
I
be.
would never-
It's gonna turn
I
into
was-
a Home Alone 3. That's what. It's
No,
gonna
I was
turn
just
into
afraid
if
it
they
would
do
turn into. I was just afraid it would turn into a Big Mama's House kind of movie, where it'd be, where it's just like, oh, we got to find another reason to put him in the woman suit, and it's like, I don't know. But now that that movie's not going to happen now, because, or at least not for until the sting of Ron Williams' untimely passing is gone. But somebody might revive it. I mean, they made that seventh Fast and the Furious movie using that one guy's two brothers and some digital compositing and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Well, I did want to discuss though. Did you really mourn for him? I mean, what hurts you the most about his passing?
Doug, you want to go first?
Honestly, it really takes a lot for me to get invested in a celebrity. It's not...
Right. Well,
I think we also live in a society that places perhaps too much importance on the celebrity of someone else because it takes away from how we live our lives. It's nice to have your favorite actor. It's nice to have your favorite actress. But in all truthfulness, I mean, yes, you'll never get to see your favorite actor in a movie again. But when it comes really down to it, it's not. It doesn't affect my life in a profound way, I guess. Mostly, like with people like, for example, when Owen Hart died back in '99. Because of course he guys already know I'm a huge wrestling fan. Everyone thought that I'd be, all sad and weepy and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I'm sad he's gone, but how does that affect my life? You know what I mean? It's hard to mourn for someone you don't know. It's hard to mourn for someone.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, like, Ron Williams is one of those guys that, like, neither of us knew him, but we knew the public him, like everyone else, everyone else that, like, kids like us who grew up seeing, Aladdin, who grew up seeing his comedy specials, he was always, like, the funny uncle to a lot of us. That's why I've read a number of write-ups where it's like, he was the guy that, you see him and some go, oh, hey, it's him, I love seeing that guy. I'm the same way with, like, Christopher Lloyd, or, like, when George Carlin passed away, he was my favorite comedian. I'd seen everything he'd done. I read his books, done all kinds of stuff. And when he passed away, it's like, well, how would he look at it? It's like, well, he didn't want to die. He wanted to live forever and keep creating and making stuff. Like Johnny Cash, when he wanted to die, he didn't want to die. His wife died. His body just gave out. He's like, he didn't have anything more to go. And you feel sad about it, but at the same time, it's like they gave all that they could with their art, with their talent, and tried to give it to people. And you think about the Ron Williams situation. It's like it's real. He gave, like, everyone's bringing out stories of how he helped them in their career or with their life when they were having troubles. He did all kinds of things to cheer people up. He would go on the USO shows for the troops, and he wouldn't advertise it. He wouldn't go out and say, "Oh, I'm doing this and that." He would just go do them. And
yeah,
and it's like now that he's gone, it's like you realize, like, somebody who had that much to live for, that had that big of a role, and, like, people loved him wherever he went and stuff. And now it's like, even he could succumb to depression and personal demons and stuff that a lot of people deal with who don't have that, who don't have people all around the world going, "Oh man, that's terrible, I'm going to watch one of his movies tonight." People who don't have that connection. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is true. I guess I'm just trying to go to, because I've read a couple people, like, comments online and stuff saying it. At first, they seem like obnoxious comments, but when you sit for a second and actually try to think about them, it's true. Where they're like, they say that, like, say if you have some random person down the street, he's having problems with bills and family or whatever, and they kill themselves. These people are saying that you should have as much connection with them as you do with Robin Williams, because you don't know them, like you said, personally, and they really haven't done anything really for you, just besides you getting a laugh out of them or whatever, And I guess
that's all,
for a lot of
all
people,
human
it's
life
just
is. It's like, you don't know, we can't know everybody, but when somebody around us dies, it reminds us of our own mortality, and that, how important is anybody else as opposed to one person. Like, when JFK died, it's like the whole world the whole country mourned him, and it's like, how many people actually knew him? Well, very few. Just like, when 9/11 happened, and it's like everybody in the country was upset, and it's like, oh, this horrible, tragic event, but it's like, really, there's 3,000, what was it, 3,000 people that died that day, people, their immediate families and stuff. It's like, it's there's the people that are directly involved, the families of tragic events like this that feel the hurt, obviously, but I think it's human nature to try and understand that and sympathize with it, and we'd all hope everybody could just be happy and live a good life and not feel pain, but it happens. That's life. Terrible things happen sometimes, and it's good. I think it's a good thing that human beings can come together. It's just a shame that it has to be under bad circumstances of somebody being hurt or killed or hospitalized. People should be able to just get together and, I don't know.
Well, no, you're right, but, and, like, the person down the street, some random person that died, we don't really know their story or whatever, which I think it would be nice if somehow, like, that, I think we can learn a lot from people that's passed away. I think having their people's stories get out there more, of random person and their life stories. I mean, just more than just person this age from this town died. I think maybe obituaries might need to be more detailed.
Well, I mean, have you ever watched those the StoryCorps videos that they've got, like on PBS, and they've been on YouTube, with they where they go around and they have people share their life stories with them, and they record it on tape, and then they have an animator animate it, and
Oh, yes.
just regular people, and it's like some of the most touching stuff where you're just like, whoa, that is heavy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, there was this one couple that they got married, and they were married for like 50, 60 years, and you know, they were still happily married. Every day he wrote her a love letter before he left for work, and then he would come home and he's like, you know, when you're happily married, you don't have to come home into fights and stuff. He's like, people don't understand. It's like, you want to be married, you're with somebody you always want to get home to. It's a good thing. And then, you know, they went back to interview him again after he came down with terminal cancer, and so it was in the last stages of his life, and they were talking about it, and like they followed up on because it took them so long to animate the thing, and they aired it on the radio, and it struck such an emotional chord with people that she received, you know, hundreds of letters from people sharing sympathy and, you know, saying what a wonderful, you know, marriage they had and all this stuff, and it, you know, and so every day she reads one of those instead of the love letters that he would have wrote her. So, you know, it's stuff like that. That, like, you know, just common everyday people have, but nobody, you know, you have to actually sit and talk to people and listen to their stories. So,
Well, for me, as far as why I think it's sad that he passed away is, like you said, you know, he's a human being, number one, and number two, it's he just had, you know, he had a rare gift, I think, of a lot of actors where he had like a certain magic about him, you know, and to throw that away, it's really shocking and sad, you know.
well, I mean, he'd been dealing with, you know, I heard he was sober when it happened, but he'd been dealing with his sobriety before that. After he had been sober for 20 years, and then he had a little bit of shakiness, so he went to rehab a little bit to tighten it up. And then, apparently, his wife said that he also was dealing with the early stages of Parkinson's. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, that's the mental illness. Everything in your life is probably really good, but you feel really depressed, you know.
Well, I mean, they say he was also probably bipolar, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Chris Farley like it was like that too, wasn't he? I mean, that's what I say. You have a lot of these comedians; they're always happy-go-lucky on the outside of what you see of them, you know, and then personally, they're pretty depressed and have a lot of personal problems, you know.
Well, most people, you know, a lot of people that have to have a public persona.
I know how to handle fame myself.
Well, Chris Farley was a lot like Belushi, you know,
Yep.
like he thought he always had to be going, and Mr. Funny crazy guy and high on coke to keep going, and then his heart just gave out. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
this is the happiest episode ever, isn't it, guys?
yeah. Yeah. What are you gonna call this one?
I have no idea.
Happy hour.
Talking happy, wonderful things with Ian and Doug. So, Doug, why don't you tell us what you've been up to lately? I talked to Ian about what he was up to this week.
Well, my wife got me a present for our anniversary, and I have been attempting to start watching it. I have all 6 seasons of Highlander, along with the spin-off series Highlander the Raven.
Yes, I read about that on Facebook. Happy 8th anniversary, is it?
Yep. 8 years, still going strong.
Happy probation, man.
Probation? What?
No, I'm just thinking out of my
Come
ass.
on, man. The ball and chain. No. Doug's happily married, aren't you, Doug?
Yes, I am.
That's good.
8 years.
That's glad. That's the happy thing, you know. I mean, it's pretty. A lot of times, it's just more rare than you would think to have happy marriages, you know.
What's really interesting is people who we went to school with, who you thought would be together forever, and then you see them now in this, like, forever.
Oh yeah, it's
You see some of the couples now, and
Yeah.
you're like, you weren't supposed to break up. You were supposed to die with your hands around the other person's neck and vice versa. Come on now, get with the program. Do you not read the script?
and my kitty cat comes to join the show. Like, hey, how's it going, guys? Stop talking about dead people. Tell some jokes. Tell us about the Highlander, Doug. Have you been a big fan of the Highlander?
For years. Highlander's actually what inspired me to start working on my book.
Now, what was Highlander?
which Highlander?
He was immortal, right?
Yes.
Now,
But he could still die.
it depends on. Well, it depends on the variation of, like, or if you follow like the cartoon logic, the TV series, that original cut of Highlander 2 where they were aliens.
Yeah.
Well, number one, nobody follows that cut of Highlander 2. That's why there's the Renegade version.
Oh, come on, man.
How does the
I like
music
how
go
they had-
on that effort?
Dude, it's Queen, Ian. Come on, man. It's Queen.
We have inside us blood of kings.
Yeah, that's right.
Here we are, born to be
Yeah.
kings.
Chopping heads off. Yeah. See, the thing about that show is, like, I watched it when it was on back in the day because there wasn't a lot on. There was basically that and that show Renegade. My mom watched Highlander and my dad watched Renegade. And Highlander, as cheesy as it was, I watched that Highlander the Source movie once. Oh, it's cartoonishly bad. It makes making them aliens in Highlander 2 not so bad after.
Yeah, a lot of people really didn't like the source.
The first 5 minutes I'm watching it going, so like the bad guy's power is he can like fast forward a little bit and like shake the camera. And like, this is really bad.
Well,
Duncan
explain-
MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
do you want to explain about the series a little bit, Doug, just in general? I mean,
Sure.
he was someone that was immortal that could go through time or whatever.
No, basically,
No, he
the
lived.
idea of the immortals is as such. Technically, you're never really born. It's never really explained how the immortals come to be in society, or how they get to Earth, or if they're just struck by lightning and there they are. But they have this thing called the game, where you fight with swords and you take the other person's head and you gain their power, their knowledge, and you take that into you.
It's called the Quickening.
It's called the quickening.
It's
And-
like, put that sniper rifle down. Let's play with some swords.
But pretty much, and that's kind of it. To be able to take the quickening is you have to take the other person's head. That's
You take
the-
their head until only one of them is left, and then you win the prize, which is ultimate power.
it. Some actually say that depending on which interpretation you kind of go by, the game, the prize, they call it the prize, could be anything. It could be eternal power. It could be mortality itself. There's so many different thought processes on what the prize could be. As a matter of fact, a lot of the books, because I even have a couple of the Highlander books that's based off the series, kind of go into that too. So the entirety is, eventually you will be drawn to a faraway land, and then the gathering will start until the prize is given to the last one left. Henceforth, there can be only one. Cue the
Yes,
Queen
but-
music.
But also, in the first cut of the second movie, they were aliens.
Aliens.
So, but then again, what do you want? What do you want from the series that had a guy with a very obvious Scottish accent dressed as a Spaniard who was really an Egyptian? So, it's like, what's with this land called Scotland? Tell me of this stuff called haggis.
Yep.
I'm an alien.
Uh-oh. Ian's a Highlander. We're going to have to cut off his head. It's
Your
like on
planet
Aqua
is
Teen.
mine.
It's like on Aqua Teen when they're like, I'm going to jump off and I'm going to become the Highlander. It's like, you don't become a Highlander. You have to be a Highlander first. Oh, see, he saw the movies. Yeah, well, shut up.
That's right. That's right. But that's what it says. You can't touch his head, but you can't die first, alright? Just be right, okay?
The
Or I
depressed
could come
doll.
back as a demon.
Yeah,
I
Ian's
am
having a
Duncan
lot of fun
McLeod,
over
the
there.
Clem McLeod.
And then there was that Highlander video game that
Never
apparently it
happened.
sucked really hard. Well, no, it happened. It was on the Jaguar CD. So
No, they were working on a next gen one that was supposed to be released for the 360 and the PS3, and it never happened. Okay.
okay, just like how that Shaq
Well-
2 is never going to happen.
Okay.
Shaq Fu is happening. It's going to be released next year.
Yeah,
But
and then you can drink some Soda Shack while you're watching it.
Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
speaking of sequels, Beetlejuice 2 is in pre-production right now, and
Is that Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian?
Beetlejuice.
yeah, Beetlejuice 2 with
Beetlejuice
In
Renor-
this
Goes
movie, do you
Hawaiian.
have to say his name 6 times?
no, it's 3 times.
Hey, what's going on? Listen up, my hair. Hey, it's gonna be a good look for me.
But Michael
says the
Keaton
B
and
words.
Winona Ryder are coming back, and so is the director too.
Well, of course they are. You know, Michael Keaton. He's been like trying to make it happen for a while because he's like, hey, remember when I was Batman? Now I'm not Batman anymore, and nobody's seeing me in movies anymore. Can I be Beetlejuice again? And then Winona Ryder, her career, there was that whole shoplifting thing, and then like the last movie I saw her in was that Mr. Deeds. So that should tell you something about where her career is right now. I mean, she's still
Oh no,
she's still good,
Deeds.
you know. She's still a decent actress, you know. I just, you know, she
Whoa,
hasn't
no.
she hasn't had a
Whoa,
film
no.
she hasn't had a film that highlights her, you know, her particular artistic talents. I guess I don't know.
you know
Hey,
what
I
movie
didn't
I
mind
want to
Deeds
see?
that much. That was a decent movie.
You're looking forward to seeing Hot Tub Time Machine 2, right, Doug?
No. This
yeah.
movie hasn't been made yet. Okay, give me a movie that has Winona Ryder and Christina Ricci both goth style. It does not matter what they're doing. It'll be a winner. Give me Wednesday Addams and Lydia Dietz in one movie and win.
And Doug's fan fiction film.
Just saying.
Do.
Hey, you laugh, but I have both the movies on DVD, and I also picked up the first season of the original TV show for like $7.50.
The original
Yeah.
TV show is one of those things where I've been seeing it pop up online being like cited, much like the ending to Some Like It Hot, where back in the day it was seen as kind of kooky and goofy, but now you look at it, it's like, you know, Some Like It Hot, that guy, you know, at the end, like, I can't marry you because I'm really a man. He's like, yeah, nobody's perfect. And at the Addams Family, it's like, well, let's see. The husband and wife are madly in love, and they really love their kids, and they go out and do their thing, and they don't care what people expect them to be, and it's like, that's a good
Yeah.
message. They're like, these people are actually really good parents. I mean, sure, they're digging people up and whatnot, but you know,
You rang.
details. You rang. Although
You rang.
although the last two movies both had to center on a plot of Fester hooking up with some chick that wanted to embezzle money, I don't know.
That would be
I
the
don't know.
second movie. The first movie was the discovery of Fester, which, by the
Which
way,
it was the
is
same
played by
thing.
one
It
of
was
your favorite actors.
Christopher Lloyd. But like I was saying though, in that movie, it's still Fester and the woman that he thinks is his mom trying to weasel them out of money. So it's basically the same plot. It's just you change the whole, you know, honeymooning thing with creepy mom situation. So, but Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd he's a pretty good actor too. I think he sort of has a magic about him, just like Robin Williams, you know.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd is rather adaptable. He can do almost anything except for those horrible Back to the Future movies.
Hey. I will not hear you speak ill of Back to the Future in this house.
Whoa.
If you want to speak ill of anything, talk about that movie where he was frozen today. So, yeah, I love Christopher Lloyd.
Can't do it.
Did you also like on that BET channel they did Black to the Future? It's like, can't we have one thing?
There was what
thing.
Can we white people have one thing? Can we have one thing? Yeah, let's have everything throughout the history of most of.
Well,
Can we have one?
Back to the Future. That was a great movie. Why do you have to do that to it? I mean, they didn't do anything bad in those movies. Those were good movies, man.
I found a trailer online for a movie about a black guy who gets a time machine, goes back into slavery times, and gives slaves AK-47s. So then he comes back to the present, and white people are the ones in ghettos on drugs and with that culture. And it's like, what? What? I was like, this is a little weird. I don't know. But that's movies for you.
That was probably a trauma movie.
No, it was called Future Shock. Not the Orson Welles movie of the same name.
Well, what was your beef with the movies, Doug? Back to the Future.
I don't like time travel style movies. It's just not my thing.
So you don't like Terminator? You know they're doing another Terminator movie.
Yes, we know. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why you want to do this again. You know, I show up, I shoot the guy, and then I go back. I mean, Christian Bale just made it look all wimpy like with his little arms. I mean, seriously, they do some deadlifts.
So
Ben, he actually did that in the Expendables 3 movie.
I know he did that. I heard he did it like 3 times. So
yeah.
And basically everyone's reaction to the Expendables 3 is, okay guys, the jokes, you're in on the joke, it's not funny anymore, stop it. Stop, you're embarrassing yourself. Grandpa, stop. Actually, Doug, I was going to ask, did you see that Pumping Iron is on Netflix now? So...
And Generation Iron is in stores now.
Well, yeah, but, you know. The thing is, I don't go to stores anymore.
You don't go to the stores. You don't like actually holding in something physical in your hands to examine it before you buy it.
Okay, so I gotta pay this much for it, or like wait 5 years till nobody's buying it and they'll be giving it away in the $5 aisle.
Hey, Best Buy, they'll price match stuff. I mean, a lot of stores are competing pretty decently with online, like Amazon's Newegg and stuff, you know.
Well, the reason I don't do that price matching with online stuff is you still have, like, the only reason I would go to a store is if they have it right there. And it's like, at that point, I don't care about the price, I just want the thing now and I don't want to wait for it to ship and deliver and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
but
and
if they don't have it...
Like, you walk into Best Buy with your smartphone, and you're like, well, Amazon.com has this for $15, and the store has it for $30. Best Buy will price match it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, you know, what? I mean...
Too much work, oh no.
Well, that's the thing. If they price match it, it's like, you know, Amazon is not just Amazon selling it. Amazon is some dude who had one in his basement and decided to put it on there, and it's like eBay. You know, whether or not they match it, I don't know.
They'll match the actual Amazon price. They have.
Well, see, that's what it.
Yeah, that's what the price match.
Yeah, so I don't want to get in. I still want to talk to dudes at the thing, trying to say, hey man, this thing, I want it, but I saw it somewhere else a little bit cheap. That makes me feel like the little old lady at the counter getting out her coupons and her pennies. 1, 2. Oh, see, two. This was in this weekend's newspaper for 3 cents cheaper. So.
Hey, people, see a lot of people still do that, man.
Oh yeah.
It's a matter of if it's worth it, you know. I mean, I know people that will find ways to get stuff cheap. And usually that means hassling the person selling it to them until they end up giving it to them and never want to do business with them again. And
Well,
I never want to be that guy.
We've talked about those extreme cheapskate shows. Those get ridiculous.
Extreme!
Yeah. I remember I saw one episode of a woman, she'll pee in a bottle just so she'll save on flushing the toilet with the water.
Well, I saw one where a woman was just walking around to houses going, "You got any leftover cans you're not going to finish? I'll take them." Like, that's... See, the level of, like, dignity and, like, energy you have to expel to find, like, you know, like, a woman filling out her living room with stuff that she just found from Blaze. Oh, you just gotta look for stuff. It's like, if it consumes your life to collect all this stuff, it's not worth the $50 you're saving.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true, man. What about you, Doug? Are you a penny pincher on anything, or do you...
Well, I try to
Just
save
get rid of
money.
everything.
Like I'll price match, definitely. But I mean, most of the stuff I buy, it's almost for cost anyway. So
The only thing I do is myself is
You
I'll
said
save those
doo-doo.
little bags. Doo-doo. Yes.
doobie doobie.
I'll save those little bags I get from the plastic bags you get from like Giant Eagle or whatever, and use those because I have little garbage cans and stuff. I'll use them as little garbage can bags, you know.
Well, that's what they are. And I mean, I only use the one. Like, I take it out, I dump the stuff from it. It doesn't hold much, so
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, are you the type of person that can fill up a whole giant garbage can in like a half a day or whatever?
No.
Nah.
I try to be efficient with throwing stuff out. Like if I'm getting something out of the fridge and I use so many packets of it, I try and put it in another container that's open, and that way I can put the wrappers in the same box because my cat likes to get into them. And then yeah.
What about you, Doug? You strike me as a guy that would probably throw out a lot of stuff. I don't know.
That really depends. If I'm in the type of mood where it's just like, you know what, toss it all, it'll all be gone. It doesn't. It's not really something that specifically will affect me, you know. I mean, I try not to be wasteful. That's the main thing. I try not to be wasteful. You know, I mean, if I have
Well, I
like
guess it depends on how lazy you are.
So lazy.
I try not to be lazy when it comes to saving stuff for myself. That's just not my thing, really.
Well, that's good then. Good, you get a peanut.
The save money.
Ben,
peanut.
give him a peanut.
Fine, but it's
I
coming
never
out of
did
your
get my-
peanuts.
You owe me a peanut from this week and last week and I think the whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
What?
bunch of free ones at Texas Roadhouse.
What, the ones
I
on the
haven't
floor?
been there in a while. Yeah. Have you ever been there, Ben?
I don't know. I kind of wonder about establishments where you're allowed to just spit stuff on the floor. I don't know.
Dude, if you ever go to Texas Roadhouse, the cinnamon butter for the rolls are insane.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. The vegetarian going to a steakhouse, I've been to a number of them, and they give me that look like, ooh, well, you could get a big blooming onion like 4 times. That might say maybe some onion rings. How about poppers? Uh-huh. Great. Can I get some ice
How about
water
get
that
off
doesn't
that-
have meat in it?
Yeah, it's like you get off that desert island. Well, we have coconuts here. You want a salad, Ben?
I swear, if I go to one more restaurant and they say, "Oh, you can have a salad," I'm going to punch them in the face. That's like if I just left China and they're like, "Would you like some rice?" Or like the Italian guy, the family takes him to Olive Garden. It's like, really? Is it? You guys think this is funny? You think you're being cute?
Well, now I would say though those places it would be different for them because I mean, are those really authentic or are those are just American restaurants? I mean, you know, I mean Taco
I don't
Bell
know.
that's American.
I don't know. Would you take a recently freed lobster to Red Lobster? I don't know.
Because I mean, it's got to be different than like real Mexican food. You know, I mean,
You know, they have a Taco Bell in Mexico,
I wouldn't be.
and
surprised.
nobody goes there.
Yeah.
What?
That's probably true. I mean, they got
Yeah.
McDonald's everywhere. I mean,
Yeah, well,
You know they call it quarter
McDonald's
pounder
in some
cheese, right?
countries. You know they don't call it that.
Called a Royale with cheese.
That was actually a thing where people have fact checked it, and it's like that's not what they call it over there. They don't. I don't even know if they serve the quarter pounder over there because people aren't interested in that much meat.
No, they don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese. They call it a Royale with cheese.
No,
We have
they
the
don't call it
metric
a
system.
Royale with cheese either. Okay. Anyway, I'm not Sam Jackson, and you are not John Travolta. What?
I'm Morgan Freeman.
You thought
you might need to
Freeman
frame.
would not show up in this podcast. You were misled.
That was less Morgan Freeman and
Busy
more
living.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I know, man.
That was Andy Dufresne.
Get
Crawl
busy
through a
living.
river of poop. Have you guys seen that Shawshank in a Minute?
Yeah, you
Here's a
showed
bottle.
that
It's
to
a
me.
powder in the face. When I knew when I saw Andy, I liked him right away, but not because I'm gay. But these guys are, and you'll see what I mean when the gang rape Andy in the very next scene. Whoa! Oh,
Most of all, I just missed my friend, Andy Dufresne.
Yeah.
yep.
Well,
That tree was hit by lightning. Sad.
Yes, it was.
Lost half that tree. Yes, it was.
sounds like your cat's sad too.
Yeah, she's like, this show sucks. Get to the trivia. That's what everyone tunes in for. And I'm like, haha, joke's on you. Nobody tunes in.
Well, actually, I
That's
mean,
horrible.
I really didn't have too many notes on it, but the only thing I really wanted to talk about officially today, besides the news, was maybe I'll give some of your opinions on it, is the whole microtransaction things going on with games and stuff. Do you know much about that, either of you guys?
What about it?
Oh, I know all
What
about it.
You know all
It depends
about
on which one. There are some microtransactions where the game is effectively unplayable unless you pay. Yes, Kay, I know you really don't like microtransactions either. She's very opinionated, this one. But, you know, I don't know. I shared that link with you of that one game maker, right? That Latch, I believe. His channel is
Yeah.
Indie Your Face Off. Or Indie Your Face, something like that. He has some very opinionated, interesting articles, and he has Vomitron, or is it Vomitorium, play the music. Where they play like NES music, but it's all like metal, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I mean, it's a pretty complicated subject. I mean, that technically with the Wikipedia just defines it as like any kind of payment online under like $20 or something, I think it was.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a matter of if it's an in-store purchase or if it's a subscription thing. You know, micropayments are more you pay for a thing. The main concern is if you're paying to win. Like all of a sudden you're either paying to win or you're paying to unlock the rest of the game with day one DLC. You know.
Yeah,
those
that's
are the
what
two
I think
primary
people have the
concerns.
problem with. The,
Which,
the
I just
DLC
wanna-
thing.
Yeah, I just want to let it be known that I'm so totally for making sure that everyone pays their due amount on a video game. But let me tell you one thing right now that just makes me so angry about day
Oh,
one
shit.
DLC.
He's gonna drop it. Bring it
Oh,
on.
oh, wait for the bass.
And let the beat drop.
Wub, 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 wub.
Yo, is this that dubstep I've been hearing about?
No,
Ain't
no,
that
dubstep
cool?
is
Wah,
dubstep
wah,
is
wah, 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 wah.
wop, 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 wop. Wop, 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 wop,
Wow.
wop, 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 wop.
And then it slowly turns into that music. I mean, that sound effect that you hear in trailers. Wah. Oh no, they're doing something. Wah. They're chasing after us. Somebody save us. Wah.
No, what really makes me mad about this day one
It
DLC
makes
crap
me mad.
is that it's not even something that's not on the disc. It's on the disc. You just have to pay to unlock it. That's on the disc. Really?
Yeah.
That is insulting our intelligence as gamers. That's insulting our intelligence as consumers. Mommy, I want to buy this. I want to get this. I want to get this. Honey, I just spent $60 on this game. But mommy, it says that I can't go to level 2 in the game without buying the $15.99 super expansion pack that gives me the extra sword with the robot that comes out and kills the bad guys in 2 seconds. Then the parent goes, fuck. Damn
Well,
you,
I mean,
EA.
a big thing that has been rivaling up with the whole micropayment thing and expenses with your kids on games is when Mojang changed their ULA. And
Yep.
is that how you pronounce it? Ouya? I have an
ULA.
Ouya.
End user license.
Ouya. Yes. When they changed it to be more specific of don't charge for in-game items, like don't charge an extra $100 so people can have diamond armor at the start of the game, you know, and it's like, and you know, because people basically the reason they did that was because parents were and other people were complaining to them saying, how come these servers are charging so much for things? They're like, that's not us, that's the server. We don't charge you for gold armor. Somebody else is making thousands and thousands of dollars off of you, so.
Now for Minecraft, that's something a little bit different. That's not, that's not an official microtransaction. That's something that's not needed. That's something that, a pool of players gets together and does on their own. There's a difference between a bunch of dudes saying, no, let's go ahead and buy a server and then charge for upkeep of that server. When you're talking about, games that the first day that it's out, ba-ding, $5.99. What's this for? Oh, that's so you can play online. But ding, $5.99. What's this for? Oh, well, that's for a helm that'll give you +2 to power. And then it just goes from there. It's insane.
What do you think you should have to pay online, Doug? I mean, do you think
A subscription fee maybe if you're using a regular service.
Yeah.
Like I said,
although
it's
anymore, free to play is really becoming a prominent thing.
Trust me, free to play is not free to play.
No, well, it's free to play to start it, but then free to actually enjoy it. Well, no, you have to pay for that.
Yeah. And there's
because server costs and everything.
And there's also a difference between having a game that's listed as free to play that you go into it understanding that you may do better in this game if you pay. But if you want to take it the regular way, feel free to. There's a difference between that. But when you shill $60 for a game and all of a sudden there's DLC day 1 that you need this update, like come on, man, just like this.
Well, I've seen an infographic that broke down the difference very easily. Where they had the Mona Lisa, and like in the 80s when you bought a video game, you paid for it, you got the whole painting, and nowadays you can with the whole day 1 DLC you get most of the painting, and then you have to pay extra to see her face, and then all these ridiculous nickel and diming things. I mean, it's nice to add things if you can add features and whatnot. That's different than DLC where the material's already made, we're just charging you to unlock it. It's like, no, bring it along after I've enjoyed the regular game first. Like if you want to have extra costumes for a character or play as a different character, that's fine. I could understand charging
I would even feel better
something else, but
I would even feel better if like all the extra crap that they want to charge you for was included in like a collector's edition. Because you pay more for a collector's edition. A little bit different packaging. You might get a key ring or a statue or, a coupon for your next hooker or something. But in general, a collector's edition...
But if the general lease is hurt by not having it, then it causes problems.
Well, in that case, you better shell out the extra $10 for the collector's edition.
But I want it. But remember the pre-order system that's been very popular. If you go to GameStop, you buy the game. Oh, if you pre-order it and you get the strategy guide. Really? That's great. I don't want a strategy guide. I've got the internet.
Yeah. Well, nowadays,
I don't need
yeah,
Nintendo Power anymore. Thank you.
Nintendo Power is dead, my
true.
friend.
But
the
I mean,
point.
Doug, I mean, can't you understand? I mean, I could sort of understand, like, what do you think about the 360? How you need like a gold account to play pretty much every game on their online.
That
play against
that
other
I can
players.
understand. That I can understand because the actual service of being able to download, games, and being able to play online goes through, both Microsoft's and Sony servers, and in the last gen with the 360 and the PS3. Microsoft started charging to be online, and their online service flourished because of that. It got better. You had better servers. There was better security. PS3, well, we all know what happened with the PlayStation servers. They got hacked and they were down for almost 4 months. Now, with the PS4, you have to have PlayStation Plus to play online. The difference in PlayStation Network and games or Xbox Live is that with Xbox Live, you had to pay that online fee to access anything. Anything. Games, applications, you name it. If you had a Netflix account and you wanted to watch it on your 360, you had to have a Netflix account, which you paid for, and then you had to have an Xbox Live account, which you paid for. That's a load of crap. That's a load of crap. I don't care who you are.
I mean, that's like the difference from charging like to have an online service and pay that a month versus for each game or something. That'd be ridiculous. That's where the nickel and diming kind of thing would be.
Well, now EA started their own online service that's strictly through Xbox because PlayStation's like, no, we already have an online service. We're happy with it.
Yeah.
You don't need your competition, EA.
But Doug, what kind of games were you talking about though? Like where you had to pay money to be able to just play level 2? Was there an actual game that you had to do that where you couldn't actually, just like on first person, just single player, you couldn't place level 2?
Well, it's just more of a general example. Give me a moment.
I've heard of like there's this one Star Trek game that came out for the iPad where you basically to advance in the map you mine crystals or whatever to get your ship further, or you could buy them for like $25. And it's like if you mine them, it sets a timer, and you have to do so much mining. And there's been a number of games like that where they put timers in to where the game is effectively unplayable unless you pay to play. So there was that one, and there was another like a dungeon game like that where you have to do mining or you can pay extra, and it's like that's just silly. Why would you ever do this?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at this real quick. See if I can find it. Well, let's see. Forza 5 will feature mandatory Day 1 DLC. Fail.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think it's the only one I'm seeing straight off. But it's just the issue of there's a couple other games. I think it was a Street Fighter game last year, the year before, that had it right. No, I think it was like Far Cry. That it was actually on the disc. On the freaking disc. It's already built into the game. You're technically already paying for it, but you're telling me that I have to drop, even if it's $2, $3, $5, depending on the game, sometimes it's upwards of $10. And don't get me started on the crappy online pass system that they had with THQ and EA and a bunch of other games.
Oh, you don't like those online passes?
Oh, that pisses me off. I should not be penalized for buying a used game.
Well, I mean, I thought the online passes where you could get a lot of content that was made after the game. I mean,
Well,
you think you should be able to have all of that
those
stuff?
are the season passes. The season passes is for stuff like for instance, let's see, Madden has an online pass. NCAA had an online pass when it was still in effect. Battlefield 4, Call of Duty,
Yeah.
a WWE
those-
game had an online pass. Basically, you get to outright buy all the DLC that's going to come out at once for less than the cost of what it would normally cost to buy it individually.
You didn't like that? I mean,
Well, that's actually different.
I don't think you should.
Yeah, that's actually different from an access pass. So basically, what they were doing is this. Let's say me and you are like, we're friends. You've been playing Battlefield 4 forever. You're like, man, I'm done with this game. I've beaten it. I don't have any reason to play this anymore. I'm done. And you give it to me. Now I take it home. I don't realize that they placed on an access pass or an access code on your game when you bought it, because you had to enter it in, had to get validated, and then you can start playing. I start playing the game, I get in the multiplayer, I jump online, and it pops up, whoop, you must have an online pass to play this game. If you do not have an online pass to play this game, it will run you $10 to be able to access the online features of this game.
Well, me and Ben have talked about that before, with software and stuff, where you have a free software and then you update it, and then now it requires since you updated it, you have to pay for it now.
Well, that's different. I mean, if you had a trial version of a game, or trial version of a program.
There's been software I've had that was free, and not a trial, just it was all free, and then there's an upgrade that now they've locked certain features behind unless you're a premium payer.
Oh,
so they've decided that's taking stuff away from people that was free. It's like, don't go and put your stuff behind a wall, and don't just spring that on people, because that's not cool, man. I've had podcast apps do that where I download it and you get the premium. It wasn't premium, but like extra content that for downloading the app. So you think that's great, and then you update it. Oh, hey, now those are for subscribers only. Huh? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And we've also talked about the fact that, we don't expect to be able to get all the updates, like future updates for software and stuff, for free, but it's
at least make a path for upgrades that's reasonable. It's like, if I buy software that's $1,000, I expect to be able to at least get half off, maybe. But no, it's like, oh well, see, your version's 2 versions behind, so therefore you have to pay the whole brand new price. We might shave off $25. Great, thanks. Great.
Fail.
But like with the season pass thing, you get like tons of stuff with that. I wouldn't mind paying for a season pass.
Is a great deal. I think the season pass is fantastic. That's almost a guaranteed purchase in a lot of people's eyes, especially if you have the hardcores. Like for me, I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. I bought the wrestling game last year, and boom, day one, I was like, blow, got it. And then of course they throw in bonuses.
But then there's like season passes for games that like come out, and was that Aliens game that came out a little while ago on season pass? And yeah, like there's a couple of those where it's like, oh man, can you imagine plopping down the money for a season pass for this and getting it? And you're just like, oh, this, yeah.
Just no.
It's like getting the pre-order bonus, or I don't like when there's a pre-order for that, like, oh, you can only get that if you got the pre-order. It's like, I didn't know this existed until it was officially on sale. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about the alternative virtual currencies that you have for like a lot of content and stuff? Microsoft, I think it was this year or maybe even year before. It's been a while, but they decided to go over straight to where you just pay money instead of having the Microsoft points. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's good because we use real money. We don't use coal factory script.
Yeah, the alternate currency was just a bother.
Yeah.
Really. And you take a look at a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, it's like, Mom, Dad, I want to buy the extra character in Call of Duty. And it's like, oh, how much is it, honey? It says 500 Microsoft points. You got a mom or dad walks in and says, I need Microsoft points. You know how many you need?
It's
You're
like when you...
no.
The only
It's like
thing
that
that's good
Simpsons
about it was
episode where... That Simpsons episode where they went to Itchy and Scratchy Land and there's the Itchy and Scratchy dollars and they walk in and every place has a sign, do you not accept Itchy and Scratchy dollars? No!
yeah.
It's great.
But the only thing I liked about it, though, is a lot of times I'd have leftover points or whatever that I'd actually be able to put towards something small, I guess. That was sort of helpful.
Well, it's like if you ever have money in the iTunes store and everything is 99 cents, so you'll never get that penny back. You'll have to spend hundreds of dollars, you know, it goes in and all of a sudden you're still like 3 cents in.
Right.
I don't know. I remember when the new version of Manga Studio, before it came out, it was available through Japan as ClipPaint Studio, and I've had friends who went and ordered it from Japan, where you had to go to their website, and they did. And for one, you know, they use the yen over there, right? It wasn't even in yen. It was in their artificial website monies. I'm like, okay, I mean, I would feel uncomfortable having to go through a site where you have to use a translator just to even use it. But man, I don't know, that's just crazy. Virtual monies. I've done those, like, my mom's up for doing online surveys before, and they want to try to pay you in, like, oh, you can either put this towards getting $10 or put it towards entering a drawing that you could potentially win. No, I'm not going to win no drawing. I just know that, okay? Give me my $10. Well, we'll give you our fun money points, and you have to take this 50-page survey. What nonsense is this? This is like a coal mining script. This is...
Yeah,
like,
my
no,
parents were
thank
actually...
you.
They were trying to work with Amazon because they returned something, but they used the Amazon gift card, and they were trying to figure out a way of getting the money back from that. But they pretty much had it locked down where anything on the Amazon gift card, like you can't even buy other gift cards with the Amazon gift cards.
Amazon gift cards, just like store credit. It's like, nope, they got that money. They're never giving it back, but they'll trade you something for it. But oh well. So anyway,
they do have sites where you can buy. They'll buy your cards from you and stuff, and you could buy and sell them on the sites. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and there are sites where you can buy and sell people. So there are sites for everything. I mean, anyway. So I think, is it about time for trivia, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
What, did Doug have anything to add to that?
I thought Doug was bringing the trivia this week.
No,
Are you bringing the trivia?
Well, come on, man. I was going to see you in the ring, brother. Oh,
I think he was
like I said,
about that.
I challenge you to the Panda WWE trivia. Come on, man.
See, I was going to climb the ring, and I was going to jump on him, and then I was going to fart on him, because that's what you do. So, alright, Ian, what's the trivia this week? Don't make it something sucky. Make it a good one.
What? Well, I don't know. I mean, what subject did you want to do? You want to do movies once?
I say we should probably do movies. I think we should do movies because the animation one, like, you and I are kind of neck and neck on those, and then the tech ones are just... The tech and the video game ones are either really softballs, or something like, what happens on the 7th stage of Kid Icarus, where... It's like, I don't know. Which one of the Powerpuff Girls... Okay, I might be able to answer them. Steve Jobs or Bill Gates?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see if Google is going to cooperate on the screen share here.
Let's find out. Screen sharing with Ian. Gonna share his screen. Hope he's not looking at porn. Boo doo 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 doo.
Okay, let's do that.
Trivia with Ian. It's a trivia with Ian. Alright, so you want me to read the questions this week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Who do you want to go first?
Which one of you boys wants to go first?
Well, we should let Doug go first since he's a guest down here.
Alright. Movie theater owners and the movie studios split the gross ticket receipts of the movies playing in the theaters. On the opening weekend of a new release, what percentage of sales do the theater owners typically get? 20%, 40%, 55%, 70%.
20%, I guess.
Okay, so Doug's saying A. What are you gonna say,
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 20. I was gonna say 30, but that's not an option, so I'd say 20. I think we
Okay.
had a question like this once, so it was
Something
pretty
like
low.
this.
It's
I'll
either
say
20 or
22.
40. It's not any higher than that. Yeah. All right. And the answer,
That's 20.
that's pretty crappy if you're a theater owner. I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, you're the one actually showing it. In Die Hard, how does Bruce Willis know that bad guy leader Hans Gruber is not an American? A. These questions sound like we've taken this. I think we've taken this quiz before, Ian. Because I'm pretty sure I remember the. Because
Oh yeah.
we've done this one, Ian.
Yeah, I can get
Ian.
I'll get rid of these two because
I'm saying, like, remember Rats in the Pants? Remember we've done some of these. Ian, you had how many jobs? You had to bring in the news stories. You had to be entertaining. You had to not eat the peanut before I could give it to you. And now,
okay, we'll just gonna delete these because this is the next section of it. Okay. So who wants to go next after? Do you want to go next, Ben, for this one first?
sure. Steven Seagal's first major Hollywood flick was Hard to Kill. True or false? Well, I'm gonna say true because I don't know.
False.
What are you gonna say, Doug?
I'll say false.
False because he wants to win if I lose.
Okay.
What do you say, Ian?
I'll just say true just to be different.
You mean you want to be with me if I win? Watch Doug be
Did
the
you
one to
say
get it.
true?
Yeah, I said true.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go with Ben then.
All right, which one is it?
It was false.
Oh, Doug got that one. He's coming for you, Hulk Hogan. What weapon do the Ghostbusters use to eliminate ghosts? A. Plasma gun. B. Heat-sinking missiles. C. Sonic shotgun. D. Proton pack. And who's this one? Yours, Ian?
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I'd like to go with Sonic Shotgun, but I think I'll just go with the Proton Pack.
How about you, Doug?
Yeah, proton pack.
I mean, I'd like to go with Sonic shotgun, but I think I'll go with the correct answer, D.
Yeah.
Seeing things in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Jean-Claude Van Damme goes to Shanghai to fight in an underground tournament in Bloodsport. True or false?
This is Doug first.
True.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in probably 10 years, but shot in the
Yeah,
dark.
I believe that's true. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with true, because I don't know.
of course.
All the cool kids were doing it, so I'm going with true.
Oh, it was false.
Doug, you led us down the wrong road. What type of weapon did members of the Watch use to exterminate aliens? Pointed gun, triangular laser, noise transmitter, metallic orb. And this is probably my answer first, isn't it?
Yeah, it's.
Well, I didn't see The Watch. That's that movie. Well, let's see. That's not that one with the Seth Rogen voiced alien, so, oh boy. Exterminate the aliens. I'm gonna go with triangular laser. Sounds pretty cool.
Okay. I'll go with the noise transmitter, I guess. What are you gonna go with, Doug?
Metallic orb. Probably get it wrong.
Oh,
Okay,
not
so-
Metallica orb.
Ben
So
is
all
for
three of us are
B.
just shooting in the dark here.
Yeah.
D is for Doug.
Ah,
Oh man, the guest is winning this one. I'm gonna have to come up from behind and do a chokehold on him.
there you are. You
Which-
need a
which
spirit
of
of
these-
Randy Savage, man.
Which of these directors have directed two different movie sequels to which they didn't direct the first installment? George Lucas, Michael Bay, James Cameron, Francis Ford Coppola. And which one of you guys going first?
This would be me going first. Thinking. Let's go with James Cameron. Screw it. This is shot in the dark for me too.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same one for me. I'll tell you what. I have an idea,
I'll
but I
tell
have
you what,
no
Bob.
idea.
Well, I know James Cameron did sequels he didn't direct the originals to, so yeah.
Okay, so we're all gonna go with.
We're all pretty confident it's Cameron.
Yeah.
Watch it be someone else.
He is for Cameron. Oh yeah.
James.
It doesn't
James
really do
Cameron,
anything for us.
Titanic. Oh, oh.
He's still in the lead. It doesn't really do anything for us because we all got the answer. Damn it.
Oh, well. Which one of these actors hasn't also turned a stint as a director? Gene Hackman, Antonio Banderas, Clint Eastwood, Kevin Spacey. This one of you
think I
guys?
go-
Doug.
I think I'll go
What's
first.
that?
I'll say Kevin Spacey just to throw it out there.
How about you, Ian?
I'll just say.
Yeah.
I'll just go with Gene Hackman, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to go with Gene Hackman as well. Because I think all the other guys have been around long enough that they're going to be directors. Well, Gene Hackman, he's been around a long time too. For some reason I was thinking the guy who played Wolverine, but no, that's different.
Come on, big bucks, no whammies. Big bucks, no whammies. Big bucks,
Okay,
no
So Gene
whammies.
Hackman's an old guy. I think he,
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh, look who has come up from behind. We're still trailing, but we're gonna get you, Doug. We're gonna get you. Which movie used the most movie extras in history? Gandhi, Ben-Hur, Gone with the Wind, Spartacus. This is me, right?
Yep.
I believe this is probably changed since this was done, but I believe it was Ben-Hur.
Yeah, so you're
Which
going
I've
with
watched
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur back. Yeah, I've watched Ben-Hur back to back with the Ten Commandments. Oh boy, that was a long time. It's a weird movie because the movie pretty much ends and you think, okay, the story's over. But then there's like a whole other part where it's like, oh, gotcha, the story's really about Jesus. Okay. All right.
I'm just gonna go with. I'm going with D.
I'm gonna go with Ben-Hur too.
I am
okay.
Spartacus. Also, I heard in Ben-Hur there's one of the guards is wearing a wristwatch. Which isn't as bad as in Blood Rain, where the one guy is wearing a wristwatch, and it turns out it's the director. And what is the answer, Ian?
Oh, it was Gandhi.
Gandhi. What? Nobody remembers the extras in Gandhi. Oh.
Well, that's why we all lost, I guess.
The people want peace.
Gandhi 2.
Also, hey, did you guys hear that apparently somebody made a porn spoof of UHF?
Really?
Yeah, it with a woman playing Weird Al. So it's got me really confused. What was the name of the little gun that Will Smith used in the original Men in Black? Tiny Cricket, Noisy Cricket, Tiny Frog, Noisy Frog. I believe this is Ian's.
Yeah. Oh man, this sucks. Gonna say Tiny Cricket.
How about you, Doug?
Noisy Cricket.
Well, I'm going with B, Noisy Cricket, because that's the answer.
Ah. Damn.
Old busted joint,
Yeah.
new hotness.
I'm losing.
Oh, man. In District 9, which weapon only works in the hands of an alien? ARC gun, EMP, laser rifle, nuclear shotgun.
I believe this is
Doug's turn.
It's Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna get this wrong because I've not seen District 9 and I refuse to because that was supposed to be the Halo movie. So I will say, here, bring it up again. Bring it up again.
It's there. It's on the screen.
I can't see it. All I
It's
see is
ARC
Windows.
gun, EMP. No, it's
I'll say ARC gun.
okay. And did you have an opinion, Ian?
I'm gonna go with D. Nuclear shotgun.
I know it was a gun, but I don't know what you technically would call it. I'm going to go for arc gun, so I'm going to go with Doug on this one.
See what it was. Oh, you guys suck.
Do we suck, or do we just win that awesomely?
Okay, so for those of you who weren't keeping score, Doug has 7, Ben has 6, I have 4.
Yes, by your powers combined. Anyway, both the movies Slapshot and the Ice Storm were about ice hockey. True or false?
This is you?
That's me. See, this is a shot in the dark here because I don't know either of those movies. Ice Storm is a very generic title, so it could be about being on the ice, but it could also just be about a horrible ice storm. I don't know which one they're talking about. I'm gonna go with true.
I'm gonna say false myself.
I'll say false as well.
I hate you guys. That means I'm either gonna lose or I'm gonna win big. Big bucks, no whammies. Big bucks, no whammies.
Yeah, false.
Yes.
I hate you both. You realize, Ian, that just puts us in the same spot. Just behind. We're still both behind Doug, and now by more. Oh well.
I've got 5, you got 6, Ben. Doug's got 8.
I'm still beating Ian though, so I guess I do feel good.
It's okay to compare me to Brock Lesnar. It's okay. You can go ahead and do that.
Well, you can compare me to Brock Sampson. So that's it. Take it from me. Which movie featured heat-seeking bullets? Logan's Run, Runaway, Judge Dredd, THX 1138.
I'm still gonna get
Who
this
is this?
wrong.
Is this me?
I think it's
this is
me.
now.
I don't know.
I think it's me.
No, it's me going first. I'm going with the Judge Dredd. See,
Which are you going with, Doug?
This is probably going to be wrong, but I'll go with Logan's Run.
I've seen Logan's Run. I want to say that's it, but I don't know because I can't remember much at all about that movie. Because, I'll go with Logan's Run though.
You going with?
Because I've also seen THX 1138 and yeah.
Okay. It was Runaway.
Runaway. Ooh.
What we got
Oh well. What precisely did Dr. Moreau do on the island of Dr. Moreau in the 1996 version? Swim, tan, drink pina coladas, create mutant animal-human hybrid freaks, attend hula dance lessons, go to luau's, use genetic material from frozen meteor fragment to breed hideous monstrosities. This is... Which one of those is this, Doug?
That's Doug going first. I know the answer.
I've not seen that one either, so I'll have to go with B.
Yeah, that's what
See, I've seen reviews talk about it, and I'm pretty sure it's either B or D. It's just I can't remember because there were some where it was very clearly human, and other ones it was just genetically modified monsters, I think. 96 version. I'm still gonna go with B. I think it was B.
Well, human. Damn, I should have told you to go with D.
More human than animal human. More human than animal human.
Yay.
Which futuristic weapon is used in the Matrix to stop enemy machines? Heat-sinking rocket, sound blaster, submachine gun, EMP, electromagnetic pulse. And this is me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
EMP?
Okay, that's what I'm going with. What are you going with, Doug?
I'm also going to go with the MP.
Okay. Damn, I was hoping you guys would get that wrong. I knew it was EMP, but... And trick you guys. Yeah, it's a
And
long
last
one
year's
for you,
Shark
then.
And last year's Shark Attack thriller, Deep Blue Sea, the scientists genetically tampered with the sharks, which resulted in making them bigger, smarter, faster, meaner. Why the heck would they do that? Researching prehistoric predators, looking for cure for Alzheimer's, creating new prey for rich hunters, or searching for Bobby Fischer. Let's see, Deep Blue Sea. Oh boy. Whose turn is this one? Ian's?
I think so, yeah. I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna go with A, I guess. Screw it.
I'll go with B.
Let's see, I don't recall seeing Deep Blue Sea, but I do know that researching prehistoric predators was another kind of movie. But also, I've heard another movie that was using the cure for Alzheimer's. So I'm gonna go with B.
Okay. Oh, damn it! I hate you both.
Yes. Yes.
Catch money. Yes. Catch money.
In Looper, the weapon of the future is which of the following? Blunderbuss, shotgun, pulse blaster, magnetic rifle. And this is Doug's call, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Didn't see Looper, so go.
I saw it. I only watched like half it.
I'll
I've
go-
seen parts of it. I haven't sat and
Yeah,
watched
me
it
too.
myself.
Man. I'll go with the blunderbuss. Most ridiculous answer of everything.
How about you, Ian? Which one are you going with?
Go see the Pulse Blaster.
See, I thought it wasn't like a gravity kind of gun or something that caused everything to whoosh and limp up down. So it'd either be a pulse or a magnetic rifle. So I guess I'll go with Pulse Blaster.
Okay, that's fine. I'll suck you down with me, Ben.
Oh no!
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
did too.
Ooh. How is a blunderbuss is an ancient weapon? It's a whatever. It's the whatever gun. Oh well. I don't know. What was one of the reasons Irvin Kershner chosen to direct The Empire Strikes Back? Related to Lucas through wife, had binding contract with studio, had done well directing earlier sequel movies. Promise George, I won't let you down, Pappy. This is my turn,
Yeah.
I guess. Well, let's see. Either he had a binding contract or he was related to Lucas. I'm gonna say related to Lucas, I think. Either that or he had a contract, but I'm gonna say related.
I'll go with B.
I won't let you down, Pappy. Because that is the most ludicrous. That is the most ludicrous.
You just playing the ludicrous card. Yeah, and also he fired a blunderbuss at him. So
Yeah.
let's see what the answer is. One of us got to get good at what?
Oh, none of us
What?
got it. Sequel.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, what? That's not even relevant to Star Wars. All right. Which of these movie directors has taken a stint as a director of either a Jason, Friday the 13th, Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Michael Myers flick? What are you doing?
Sorry, I said, hold on.
Yeah, you had one job. Michael Bay, Francis Ford Coppola, Jan DeMont, Rennie Harlan. Which one of you guys is going first?
I think it was mine, I think. I'll go with... Just go with D, I guess. That's a total shot in the dark for me. I was never a big fan of the Friday the
Yeah.
13th.
I'll say Michael Bay.
I think it's either C or D, so I'm gonna go with C, Jan de Bont.
This is Jan de Bont. Have you ever seen Twister?
Jan de Bont. No, I didn't. What should be
So
Rennie
Doug was
Harlan?
going with Michael Bay.
Yep, Michael Bay.
Because he blows stuff up real
Yeah.
good. I should
I
have
went
gone
with
with Rennie
D,
Harlan.
yeah.
I was this close. I said it was one of those two.
It's not the
But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So, which of these flicks wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg? Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Duel, Gremlins, Hook. All right, whose turn is this one? Doug's.
That's Doug.
I believe that is mine. Can you bring it up again? Which one? What's the choices?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Duel, Gremlins, or Hook.
And which one wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg?
I'll go with the Temple of Doom. Why? Because I can.
How about you, Ian?
Doom, doom,
Didn't
doom,
we
doom,
have
doom.
this one similar where he didn't direct one of the Indiana Jones movies?
No, I think you're thinking of a George Lucas one we might have had a while ago or something like that. But this is not close enough. Like, go ahead. Answer it, Ian. Which is it? Because I know the answer.
I'll just go with Doug. Hey.
Ah. Well, see, the answer is Gremlins, because that was a Joe Dante flick.
Oh, really? Joe Dante, huh?
Well, let's take a look.
Ben was right.
That's right.
He's catching up.
Because I'm awesome. I'm so awesome.
Okay, each of us are 2
Awesome.
points apart. Doug 12, Ben
All
10, me 8. Ben 10
Ben
there.
10. Thanks. Thanks. I need to be attributed with that show I'd never watched. Which weapon is used by police of the future in Minority Report? Acoustic shotgun, six-stick, nuclear pistol, flare gun. Can I just take a minute and say that every one of these things about what weapon in the future has always been kind of dumb? Acoustic shotgun? What does that even mean? Six-stick? I don't know, man. So who's answering this one first? Me?
This is you, yeah.
I'm gonna go with six-stick.
That's what I'm going with. Because that's the answer.
Yep, six-stick.
Oh well. I should have just played the fool and gone, oh, I don't know, guys. Which one is it? Which weird scenario didn't Hitchcock cover in one of his films? Guy being attacked by crop duster in field, woman realizing her husband killed her father, college boys killing guest of honor of party before the party begins, birds attacking humans. Gentlemen?
Okay, so this is this me going first?
Yes.
Go with. I don't know. I think I'll just say D, I guess. That sounds like really crazy.
I'll go with C.
D, senor.
It's either B or C. C is kind of elaborate that you think it's the plot of something, but it doesn't have to be a Hitchcock film. Woman realizing her husband killed her father is very simple, and that could probably be the plot of a lot of movies. So I'm going to go with C.
Okay. Husband. Oh, you should have went with your first thought.
I should have gone with the simplest answer. Blunderbuss. Anyway.
Well, that's it. You, Doug won. Ben was in second. I was in third.
Oh well. I'll tell you what.
Now,
We're coming for you. We're going to see you in the ring, brother.
Before I take my rightful place as championess, I just want to say one thing. The simple
don't have any of
fact
that
of the matter
sweet weed,
is
brother.
that, ladies and gentlemen, my name is not Paul Heyman, and the guy who is not my client, me, oh wait, I am my own client, has just won the championship, which is so richly deserved of me because I am so great. You all would
I am so smart. SMRT.
You all would be well served to study this, and just vote for the future when you think about this. So therefore, I say to you, everybody, right now, be like
He's announcing
me.
his candidacy for President of the United States of America.
I am the one.
Everything is awesome. When you're
Okay.
part of the team.
Alright. Well, this show went weird.
Read.
You know, I took my mom to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, even though she was arguing that she didn't want to go because the last time I picked a movie for us to see, the Lego movie, she really didn't like it.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome.
Oh,
I've already seen it twice.
So you saw it too, Ben?
Yes, I have seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
How is
Nothing
it? Then?
flies
I
over
never
my
saw
head.
it. I'm the only one that hasn't seen it.
You need to go see it. It's a good movie.
You're fired.
Although
Damn
it
it.
does start off really sad. But then it just kicks into pretty awesome, and then you got the "How do I feel?"
Ian, the only thing that you need to know about this movie is this. When you watch this movie, at one point you will hear this sentence, and Ben will get this joke. You will see Chris Pratt, and he'll be jumping into a spaceship, and he'll be screaming out, "They got my dick message!"
I don't believe anyone's 100% right there. Nothing flies over my head. I will grab it.
My reflexes are too good, I would jump up and catch it.
Oh, guys.
Ever call me a thesaurus.
The screen horror is my friend. Oh, that movie. Well,
Saying I go see that.
you should go see it. It is a good movie. It will be worth your money. I saw an interview with Chris Pratt where he was saying...
That's affirmative. Breaker 19.
Where Chris Pratt, they asked him
I
if
will
he
go
was
see the
prepared-
movie.
They asked him if he was prepared to be an influence to little kids, and he said he really hopes the movie does well, so that he stole his costume and like the jacket and some other stuff, and he hopes that if it does well, he can start going to hospitals and visiting kids and making them feel better. So it's like, well, that's a very enlightening approach. You know, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to get all kinds of money and everything. It's like, no, man, you know, go out and make kids happy. That sounds pretty awesome. So
Yes, Ian, you have to go see that movie.
it's got a raccoon.
that's a 10-4.
He climbs on top of the
Breaker 19.
giant tree, voiced by Vin Diesel, who just goes, "I am Groot."
You're making me beat up dirt.
What's a raccoon? Man.
Well,
gentlemen.
Yeah, we figured that out the first 75 times you said that.
I believe whatever the answer is going to be, it's going to be in the form of Groot, am, and I. Anyway. Well, gentlemen, it's been a fun show. I believe we've all had a good time. Is there anything you all wanted to say before we head down the trail to the happy hunting grounds?
I am God.
Because I'm going to kill you after the show. Oh, well, maybe not him, but...
I do not give you permission to stop the show.
In life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted.
Anyway. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the other side. To find out more, visit NoRightsProductions.com. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NoRights. And hey, why don't you check out my Tumblr at NoRights.tumblr.